Sounds great.
My turn. That was great stuff. So for everyone that just tuned in, for Troy Perlowitz, who's coming over, he does all the research over at the NHL, NHL.com. Super helpful, super insightful. If you missed it, you could go to the Prop Queen website. You could go to the YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports. His segment will be posted. Everything here is posted to the YouTube page. So make sure to subscribe, check out the YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports, everybody. Before I get to edges in the props market, shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA ends up with the MVP in the NBA. Preseason, Nikola Jokic was the favorite at plus 450. SGA had, according to BetMGM, the third shortest odds. It was Jokic, Luka Doncic at 5-1, then SGA at plus 650. Obviously, that number ended up closing at I think BetMGM sent this to me on March 18th, and SGA was minus 800 on March 18th. So we know that thing closed at minus 1,000 or something. So SGA ends up winning MVP. No surprise there. What do I want to get to first? I guess we'll do some, while I'm talking about the NBA, we could talk some NBA propaganda. These are the most bet on props according to BetMGM tonight. Josh Hart under 5.5 assists. TJ McConnell over 5.5 points. Way too much juice. Everyone loves betting the Brunson first field goal. It's every time. Every time. Josh Hart over 12.5 points. And Pascal Siakam under 18.5 points. I actually kind of like the Siakam over points. So I might be fading the public there. And I will tell you why. So Pascal Siakam tonight. And now thank you to Sean Michael for ruining my night. Trent. Mega lock. Knicks. Great. So the Pacers are going to win tonight. Awesome. So that's good for Pascal Siakam. So Pascal Siakam has had some good career numbers at Madison Square Garden. His points prop at 18.5. He's gone over that in 4 of his last 6 at MSG, dating back to 2022. The Knicks, they have allowed forwards to have success, especially in game ones. Tobias Harris put up 25 in the Pistons game 1. Jason Tatum, 23 points in their game 1. So I would take a look at the Siakam over. As for Tyrese Halliburton, now with Trent on the Knicks, with the potential of the Pacers winning, I'm a little nervous about this, but Tyrese Halliburton doesn't typically have a first good game at MSG. He typically needs a little time to warm up to the Garden, so his second game tends to be better, just historically. I would say his numbers are pretty spot on, but I do think based on the history that one thing is going to be a little too overpriced in his points or his assists. So his assists for Halliburton, he's had double-digit assists in both game ones so far in the playoffs. However, his prop's 8.5 for a reason. He has not had a lot of assists in games against the Knicks. He's been dishing the ball out. Obviously his assist is what you look at, but he's gone under in 2 of 3 Halliburton against the Knicks in the regular season. I'm just thinking Hallie's going to have the bigger game too. So I would stay away from Halliburton tonight, but assist is always his over is always the play, but 8.5 is a very low number for Hallie. It's usually 9.5, by the way. With that 8.5, and he only has let's say 9, and then his points, I like Siakam better in game 1 against the Knicks. Some Knicks props that you could look at. We'll start with Cat. Karl-Anthony Towns. He should have a great night. I mean, it's history. This season so far against the Pacers, 21 points, 15 boards, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 40 points, 12 rebounds. So going over this in every game. I looked at the games that the Pacers had. They struggled against both bigs they faced in the opening game of each playoff series. Giannis, 36 points, 12 boards. Evan Mobley, the power forward for the Cavs, 20 points, 10 rebounds. So I like Cat a lot tonight. Jalen Brunson, he's had a lot of success against the Pacers. So dating back to last season, Brunson's averaging 29 points through 13 games against Indiana. Of course, they had the playoffs last year. In 7 contests at home, Brunson's number goes up to 34 points a game against Indiana. In the Pacers' last series against Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell averaged just under 40 a game when they played in Cleveland, aka Pacers on the road. Mitchell averaged 34 points a game in the series overall. Brunson's points prop is just 28.5. As for Brunson's assists, it's dropped off against Indiana. Brunson averaged 5.5 assists in the last 2 seasons facing the Pacers. And this year, Brunson went under 7.5 assists in 2 of 3 regular season games. So over on Brunson points, under on assists. Again, the way I'm playing it is whatever happens tonight is probably not going to happen in game 2 and vice versa. So if Cat goes off tonight, then I'm going Brunson game 2. If Brunson goes off tonight, then I'll go back to Cat in game 2. The numbers just are telling me that they both should have a few good games in this series. Back and forth. Knicks shooting guard Josh Hart. He's had at least 10 rebounds in all 3 regular season matchups with the Pacers. His 9.5 rebounds prop, it's juiced to the under. So my hunch is that it's going to be a bigger game for their big, Cat to go off on the boards tonight. But throughout the rest of the series, just keep your eye on Josh Hart because Josh Hart should have success on the boards. There should be boards aplenty in this fast-paced game that the Pacers are going to try to force the Knicks into. Is that it for NBA? Yep, that's it for NBA. Major League Baseball time. Let's get to Fishy lines. This one's a little bit interesting. Usually the number moves in favor of the dog when it comes to Fishy lines. Today's case just continued to move in favor of the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm a little iffy on this. So the Blue Jays, they saw the line move a lot in their favor despite majority of action coming in on the Padres. Padres are on a 4-game losing streak. Public thinks there's no way in hell that the Padres continue to lose this much. Well, the Blue Jays starter Kevin Gausman, he's always been better at home. Outside of his last start, which was Gausman's worst start of the season, Gausman hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in a home game. Lifetime against the Padres, Gausman owns a 3.35 ERA. He's 2-1. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is hot right now, 315 batting average, 4 homers, 17 runs scored in his 20-game on-base streak. The Padres' bats are absolutely flamed out. They are over 24 with runners in scoring position during their 4-game losing streak. My concern is the bullpen. The Padres, they have a lot of arms available, high leverage arms available. They've got the better overall bullpen anyway, the Padres. They're more rested than Toronto. They're a better bullpen than Toronto. So maybe it's more on Gausman and you look at Toronto first 5 or just stay away from San Diego. The public's all over them because no way they lose 5 in a row, right? No way. I hate those narratives. So I'm staying away from San Diego. I just am a little iffy on the bullpen situation. Padres have a great bullpen and all their good arms are available. Gausman, maybe you just back in the first 5. Batters to watch. Nope, I want to go overs first. Batters to watch, overs. Shohei Ohtani, he's hitting 500 with a homer against Corbin Burns. Manny Machado, 2 home runs against Gausman. Xander Bogaerts, 2 doubles and a homer against Gausman, hitting 315. Fernando Tatis Jr. has great numbers against Kevin Gausman through 17 at-bats, hitting 471 with a double and 2 home runs. Luis Arraez, 7 for 9 with a double against Gausman. And Marcell Ozuna, he's got a double. Oh, that game, sorry. I forgot to take that out. That game is rained out. No Nats and Braves tonight. That game's rained out. Unders to look at. Freddie Freeman, he's got 5 Ks. He's only hitting 214 against Corbin Burns. Max Muncy, 1 for 13 against Burns. Will Smith of the Dodgers, 1 for 11 with 4 Ks against Burns. Ketel Marte, 1 for 10 with 2 Ks against Dustin May. DJ LeMahieu, not great, hitting 158. 2 doubles, though. 8 strikeouts against DeGrom. I'm very worried about DeGrom. The weather here sucks, too. I'm curious if the rain's going to stop. I got to look that up. Taylor Ward, 111 batting average, 1 for 9 with 2 Ks against Sears. Jake Cronenworth struggles against Gausman, and that game, Austin Riley, he's out. That's a lot of good numbers for Gausman, but Toronto has fishy line. Yeah, because they haven't scored with runners in scoring position. So who the hell cares if you have good numbers against the pitcher if you can't drive in runs when you're on base? So that's the problem. Joseph likes Ohtani today. Ohtani what? Home run, total bases. Where are we going with Ohtani tonight? Some strikeout props to watch. I will be honest, I don't love either of these. These were the only 2 that semi stood out to me. The first one's Taijuan Walker over 3.5 Ks. The number's just too low for facing the Rockies. Righty starters averaging just over 6 strikeouts a start against Colorado this year, with 9 of the last 10 going over 3.5 strikeouts. Walker's faced 3 high K rate lineups this year. He had 4 against Colorado at home, 5 against San Francisco, then just 2 against Miami. Walker only had 3 strikeouts at Coors in 2023, but he had 6 in 2022. So, a little juice to the over. I like JP Sears better over 4.5 Ks because of the value. I saw this at plus 110. Again, just another number that's too low for the opponent. So lefty starters, 5 of the 6 have gone over their strikeout prop against the Angels, averaging just under 6 strikeouts a game. 4 of the last 6 southpaws to face the Angels went over 4.5 strikeouts. Sears hasn't had great strikeout numbers this season. He's only gone over 4.5 Ks in 3 of 7 starts. However, all of those starts except for one were on the road. The one that one of the games that Sears went over, he was at home. So with him at home, Sears, against this very strikeout-prone Angels lineup, I don't mind it for being in like plus money, but not a huge fan of K-props tonight. Got 2 minutes left. You know what it means. It's time for the best bets of the day. We are going with our Royal Lock of the day. It is a Knicks Wednesday. I'm going with Karl-Anthony Towns, going over his points plus rebounds prop of 33.5. The Pacers have struggled in game 1 against both bigs they faced. Giannis, 36 points, 12 boards. Cavs, Evan Mobley, their power forward, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Cat's numbers in the regular season against Indiana, 21 points and 15 rebounds. 30 points, 9 rebounds. 40 points, 12 rebounds. If this doesn't hit tonight, it's going to hit in game 2. So I'm going to go back on it for game 2. If this doesn't hit tonight, then Jalen Brunson's going off tonight. That's how it's going to work. But Cat, he's been a little quiet for too long. I like Cat over his points plus rebounds. Good matchup for him against Indiana. I do not believe in Miles Turner. I do not believe that he has looked as good as he has, the same way I do not believe in Mitchell Robinson. However, they have both had pretty good playoffs. I'll give them credit where credit's due defensively. Miles Turner has looked better than usual. He is just so inconsistent. Cat is legit. We are going with the over points plus rebounds. That's it for me here on the Prop Queen Pod on this Wednesday. I should continue to check the weather because I really hope that the Jacob deGrom game doesn't get canceled in the Bronx because I'm really excited to watch deGrom pitch tonight simultaneously with the Knicks. They're about an hour apart. Make sure to tune in to the YouTube page at Prop Queen Sports. Anytime that you miss any guests, it's on the Prop Queen Sports YouTube page. So subscribe, like, please go and do that. And then the PropQueen.com newsletter, where a lot of this info is already at. You could get it for a premium subscription, $17.99. It comes in the morning by like 11 a.m. usually. All this info pretty much is already there. Or you could get it in the basic at $8.99. That is going to come out like now. It's 6:02. I usually release a lot of the graphics and a lot of the stats that I have on the PropQueen.com newsletter. So you could subscribe to that. Royal locks on Knicks, Trent on Knicks. Just because Cat goes over points and rebounds doesn't mean that the Knicks have to win. I mean, probably more likely if they did, but just saying. One player doesn't do it all. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Prop Queen Pod. Let's go Knicks.